Hello, my name is Brent Wampler. First off, I want to thank you for the opportunity to apply for your principal's program at Campbellsville University. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm going into my 8th year in the education field. The first 5 years in education, and they've all been at Lewis County, and the first 5 years were long-term subbing positions, and I served in various roles with that. The majority of that was at the high school. 1 year I done social studies and science for 6th grade, but the majority has been science at the high school, and that goes from biology, chemistry, and physics. The 2021-22, then the school year 22-23, I went and got my MAT certification at Morehead State University, and I served as an actual certified teacher and taught PE grades 9 through 12 at Lewis County High School. This past year, I took a different position. It was more of a unique role for me. I served as the homeless liaison for the school district along with the homebound teacher. This was, like I said, was a very unique role for me. And, I kind of connected with kids on definitely a different level than what we did in the gym or in my years in the classroom. It was definitely a more personal level. And I really liked the impact that I was able to have on those students. Some leadership roles that I have had in my time here at Lewis County is I have coached at the high school level all 7 years. That's been basketball. This past year, I served as the head coach of the Lewis County Middle School baseball team. Some other things I have done in this district is I started a Saturday morning league. And, I coordinated with the Youth Service Center director for Lewis County to help sponsor students that weren't able to have the money to get into the program. We charged $10, and that covered the shirt fee, and we held all this down at the gym in downtown of Lewis County, which is the city of Vanceburg. Some other things that we had to do is I scheduled high school athletes, and that's girls and boys basketball players, to come and work with those students just so they can kind of learn the game from another kid or somebody that they looked up to. I thought that was really important. Some other things I had to do is gather sponsors within the community to help pay for some of the shirts and help kick in on some of those scholarships. And then also I had to keep a weekly budget report to ensure that the funds for the concession stand and the gate, and that we made sure that we took care of equipment, and if anything got mistreated, we made sure to replace that out of those funds. Another leadership role that I've served in Lewis County is a safe crisis management trainer for the district. With that, I work with the building principals to select a team, and that team gets trained once a year on the proper restraints and de-escalation strategies in the event a student would have to be restrained. Something that I've always, held important in education is obviously student achievement. I think the most important thing when it comes to student achievement is clear expectations. I felt transparency is the best policy when it comes to students, and even when I've dealt with adults, like other teachers in my homebound position, gathering schoolwork and stuff, like just being as upfront as possible about things when something doesn't make sense, walk it out and do the right things, especially by the kid. Another important role, and especially I learned this year as a homebound teacher, is implementation of an IEP and a 504 plan. That's learning it more as in the English side of things and the math, and having to work with students in state testing was something that was very new to me, and I felt like I learned a lot in that and at that time. And a big thing for me back in the classroom, I remember that I felt like a lot of people kind of overlook the importance of is reteaching content. I think it's the kids need to hear it more than once. They need to hear it multiple times, especially when it's not clicking for them. As for my advanced knowledge of curriculum instruction, for physical education, the biggest thing that was hit for me was the fitness gram. And, some of the things that we looked at was the aerobic capacity. We did the 1 mile run, body composition. The kids learned how to read a BMI chart, why it was important to get to a certain number. We looked at flexibility. We done sit and reach things. And then for our upper body stuff, we did push-ups. As for homebound, it's not as much about curriculum as much as it is about policy. Homebound having to visit a student twice a week for 1 hour sessions, and those sessions being productive and knowing the content walking in. I felt I had all the way down from kindergarten up to 12th grade students that were on homebound, so I was working with students in Algebra 2 content, and then all the way down to just simple addition and subtraction. So there was a lot that I had to learn this past year when it comes to the curriculum and assessments and the best way to kind of educate those kids. But like I said, it all comes back to being transparent and just clear expectations and, telling the kid, you have to advocate for yourself when something doesn't make sense to you. And, if it doesn't make sense to you, we can work this out. If we have issues, we would set up online meetings with the teacher during their planning to ensure that the student was getting the best education that they could. All in all, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to why I believe I would be a good candidate for this. I think the most important thing that you should know about me is I'm a student-centered person. I love the idea of kids learning. I love the idea of kids socializing in school, and building relationships with kids is extremely important. And I'm a firm believer in students come first.